Hey, what's good, people? Welcome to Homeworld Deserts of Karak. Today we're casting the Jaraci Cup semifinals between Bozocow and RenderedSpy. Um, Bear with me a minute. I'm just gonna hop into the info.txt real quick. RenderedSpy gotta choose coalition. Bozocow's gonna pick his usual Gaussian. For bans, Bozocow's gonna ban Kalash Teeth, RenderedSpy banning Titan Passage. Um, then for game one, RenderedSpy is gonna pick the Boneyard. Bozocow's gonna pick Torin Crater and Kartoba for games 2 and 3. RenderedSpy picking Canyon Outpost for game 4, and the potential ace match is gonna be on Firebase Krill. Alright, let's load up game one. So both of these players are feeling themselves right now, coming off of RenderedSpy's coming off a 3-0 with sick IGN, and Bozocow's coming off of a 3-0 with yours truly in the quarterfinals. So let's see what they bring to the table. Initial CU focus from Bozocow, base runner attire. This is a really good map for rail rushing, so I'm assuming we're going to see that from him. Little bit of an eco focus from RenderedSpy. Scouting base runner from him, no sign of tech yet. Alright, production cruiser moving out across the field for Bozocow, so gonna see a scuffle happening soon. RenderedSpy going support cruiser first, so it's kind of what you want to see as a rushing player. Hopefully RenderedSpy can hold this. Base runner's gonna find the production cruiser, and RenderedSpy immediately going for light assault vehicle fabrication. Yep, this is pretty typical for RenderedSpy, using the base runner as a scout. Bozocow's gonna try to clean that up. Just sending 2 skimmers to do the job, though. That's all he needs. Support cruiser hits the field for RenderedSpy, and LAV tech is done. And immediately into AAVs for him. I don't really like this against a railgun rush from Bozocow, but we'll see what he can do. RenderedSpy doing what he needs to do, getting some LAVs on the field to defend. Manages to keep them all alive, though. Second production cruiser going out, or coming out from Bozocow. He's committing to the rush. Yeah, RenderedSpy prioritizing healing, and he's got a support cruiser out, so gonna keep these LAVs alive for longer than they would be otherwise. Building AAVs now. Little bit of a stalemate here, as neither player has the critical mass to push in or push out. Carrier PD picks off a skimmer. Bozocow attacking into railguns right now. Alright, bear with me a minute. Just gonna pop up the game volume a little bit. Alright. AAV's doing a good job of zoning out the skimmers. First heavy railgun hits the field though, and that's gonna start laying down the hurt on these. Watch out for this backstab of LAVs though. They're probably gonna try to deny long distance spinning on the second base. Alright, bear with me a minute. Just gonna jack up the game sound a little bit.
Moving to destination.
Alright, LAVs are gonna commit on the backline. Well, AAVs push out against these railguns.
Salvager is in contact.
Coordinates verified. Systems offline.
Stalemate while these LAVs clean up Bozocow's long distance miners.
Railgun calibration enhancements online. Railgun advancing.
Defense alert. Salvager destroyed.
These AAVs are gonna get healed up and then try to push out again.
Reposition.
Hostile strike craft destroyed.
Push out.
Sand skimmer under fire. Alert. Defense carrier in contact. Is tracking new targets on scan.
Destination.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound. Defense alert.
Yeah, Bozocow meanwhile has teched ranged calibration and is going for EMP rounds. Little bit of a stalemate right now. Bozocow can't long distance spine, but also can't really push in. There's too many AAVs here and too much healing from the carrier.
Assault railgun online. Destination locked in. Destination marked.
An assault railgun hit in the field for Bozocow.
Assault railgun in service.
And that's pathing over to the second base.
Salvager online. Position set. Course set.
Probably gonna try fighting those LAVs.
Course verified. High speed to target.
AAV's gonna poke out.
Arctic scanner spotted.
RenderedSpy doesn't want to take this fight yet.
Move and monitor scans. Destination locked in. Move. Coordinates verified.
Yeah, he pushes out and then thinks better of it.
Hostile base runner detected.
Course set.
It's being a little tentative in the way he's playing, though.
Set. Heavy railgun in service.
Salvager taking fire.
Move to destination. Rail
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
That is 8 AAVs.
course set. Acknowledge.
Invasion strike craft
Coordinates
down.
verified.
Yeah, he probably has the numbers to push in, but
Salvager
with good smoke micro, but he doesn't seem to want to do that yet.
Maneuvers grid mark. Advance out. Target position set. Destination verified. Heavy railgun in service. Remain clear for crossfire. Do not let them escape. Fleet capacity capacity upgrade.
Yep, he's maxed out on armor upgrades for these AAVs too.
Advance up.
Now, he's doing something really sneaky here.
Command verified.
Well, Bozocow is focused on this rush over here. RenderedSpy's just gonna sneak a couple AAVs into the backline. And he's gonna get away with it too. Bozocow doesn't see them.
Area alert issued. Northern. Defense alert. Heretic forces are extracting an artifact. Grid warp set.
Bozocow, meanwhile, going for refinery mode.
Enemy armor inbound.
He is planning on mining off of this base, which,
Enemy base runner authenticated.
yeah, we'll see if he gets away with it.
Movement monitors.
Sand skimmer taking fire.
LAVs are gonna catch these assault railguns out.
Contact.
A strike craft has been destroyed.
One of them goes down.
Assault railgun lost.
Honor guard cruisers now available for production.
Sand skimmers are gonna move back to defend. These AAVs right here can just push up and take the rails.
Strike craft destroyed.
They're gonna do it.
Movement. Order received.
Hostile armored craft.
Yeah, with the skims gone, there's nothing these rails can do.
Assault railgun destroyed.
Defense alert. Heretic forces have secured an artifact.
Defense alert. Production cruiser engaging the enemy.
Locked in. Reposition.
Strike craft destroyed.
Push out.
Salvage
Yep, and these AAVs are just gonna chase down these production cruisers.
railgun.
Meanwhile, skims are doing their best at home, but they would have been so much better
Cruiser under fire.
screening for the rails back here.
Heavy railgun destroyed.
Copy. New coordinates verified. Move us out.
Yep, one production cruiser goes down. Second isn't far behind.
A strike craft has been destroyed.
Return for decommission and fleet reassignment. New coordinates.
Scan lock established. Tracking targets. Defense alert. Production cruiser destroyed. Carrier systems ready.
Research fulfilled.
And just like that,
Let's verify.
game swings massively in RenderedSpy's favor, and in Honor Guard cruiser hitting the field for Bozocow, but it's not going to be enough.
Defense alert. Honor guard cruiser under fire.
Maintain fire.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
Bring us around. Advance underway. Course set. Artifact detected. Secure the holy site.
So
Defense alert. Heretic forces are extracting an artifact.
Bozocow's suffering from a little bit of hubris in game one. Committed to a bunch of techs he didn't need.
Advance on new heading.
Honor Guard cruiser fabrication,
Rally
production cruiser refinery mode.
carrier link with local contract. Field cruiser from Spencer's. Move to destination.
You can't afford to get lazy when you're in that position. A rail rush is a knife's edge for both players,
Grid mark established.
and RenderedSpy just
Research complete.
splitting off three AAVs at exactly the right time
Set condition
to
1.
take advantage of where Bozo wasn't looking.
Engaged.
Systems online.
Salvager taking fire.
Prime charges. Confirmed. Prime charges. Defense alert. Heretic forces have secured an artifact. Bring us around.
Defense alert. Salvager lost.
Established. Array energizing.
Yeah, even getting artifact extractions on the back end.
Light attack vehicle online. Grid mark established.
Coordinates verified.
I mean,
Command verified. Grid mark set.
Bozocow not GGing out, but
Vehicle online.
Target zone.
this is pretty much over.
Coordinates verified. Production cruiser online. Updated. Course verified.
Course marked. Advance.
Target position updated. Destination verified. Course verified. Salvager online.
It's gonna stick in it though. Rendered Spy taking into rails, building up a death ball over here, trying to finish the game.
Salvager online. We have insufficient resource units. Rally
Expanding to his third base.
Ready for operations. Proceed to
Bozocow doing the same, but armies on the field, it's not looking good for him.
destination locked in. Maneuvering out. Command you lack construction units.
Alright, got an AAV and rail blob moving across the field. Got a support cruiser in tow.
defense alert. Enemy armor inbound. Sand skimmer under fire. Combat ready.
Rally position designated. Rally position designated. Grid mark noted.
Carrier active.
Bozocow's building another honor guard though.
Acknowledge. Advance to mark zone. Rally position marked. Verified.
Ready for operations. Hostile railgun approaching.
Or set. Strike status positive.
Sand skimmers are gonna find the death ball.
New contact. Command verified.
Honor guard makes itself known.
Coordinates verified. Target position set.
Salvager is in contact.
Another three AAVs are gonna split off.
Carrier
Start killing salvagers on the third.
Defense alert. Salvager destroyed. Alert. Carrier under attack. Craft in area response.
Couple AAVs are gonna poke in, but honor guards are gonna say no to that.
Destroyed.
Rendered Spy, meanwhile, extracting another artifact. I mean, his map control is just so much better than Bozocow's right now.
Command verified.
He could just hold ground and win on artifacts if he wants to.
Lock array on RU field. Light attack vehicle rendering complete. Defense alert. Heretic forces have secured an artifact. Destination locked in. Defense systems online. Light attack vehicle rendering complete. Research.
Honor Guard cruiser anti-air used against a probe.
Rally position marked.
Defense alert.
Not the most efficient use of resources, but
Taking fire.
it is what it is.
Require visual confirmation.
Advance up. Destination locked in. Long range advance set. Sand skimmer advancing.
Rendered Spy being kind of tentative in mid.
Coordinates verified.
Point verified. Mobilizing now. Sand skimmer.
He's letting Bozocow build back up. A third Honor Guard cruiser's in the works right now.
Defense alert. Honor guard cruiser in contact. Defense alert. Cruiser under fire. Hostile base runner detected.
Defense alert. Heretic forces are extracting an artifact.
Defense alert. Support cruiser spotted.
The Honor Guards and Railblob trade blows.
Moving to destination. Honor guard cruiser online.
Sand skimmers are gonna try to poke in, but get shut down by the AAVs.
High speed to target. Advance underway. Moving to destination. Commence defense alert. Heretic forces are extracting an artifact.
Double extraction coming out for Rendered Spy.
Must reclaim Seju's
And
legacy.
Bozocow has to shut this down, otherwise he loses the game.
Mobilizing. Target position updated. Move.
Honor Guard cruisers are gonna move in.
Position updated. Advance out. Advance and engage. Honor guard defense systems online. Main cannon online. Rally position designated. Rally position marked. Verified. Destination locked in. Slow to idle.
Yep, Bozocow's gonna have to fight.
Horn research fulfilled.
Gunship hitting the field for Rendered Spy. It's probably gonna commit against these Sand Skimmers.
Honor guard cruiser online. Systems online. Defense.
Sand skimmer under fire. Strike craft destroyed.
Honor Guard cruisers are gonna use AA against the gunships, but
Inbound.
that shuts down their main guns and means the AAV Railblob can move in. Bozocow not even gonna get any gunship kills. Gunships are gonna dock and heal up. Tactical bombers coming out now for RenderedSpy.
Defense alert.
Bozocow gonna commit the carrier to try to kill these artifacts, but okay. One bomber goes down, but all the rails go down.
Railgun is being engaged.
RenderedSpy pushing in, gonna get a good angle on these heavy rails.
Target zone verified.
Honor Guard cruisers dangerously out of position though. Yeah, RenderedSpy sees an opening, he's gonna take it.
Defense alert. Production cruiser is in contact.
Destination locked in. Reposition. Coordinates verified.
Defense alert.
And Bozocow going for a base trade a little bit too late.
Just lost a production cruiser.
Production cruiser goes down in the middle,
Advance underway.
or on the second base rather.
Carrier taking fire. One. At that hostile scanner spotted.
Bozocow committing a carrier against these artifacts, or against these space runners. Probably not gonna get them.
Advance and engage. Carrier weapon systems online.
Heretic craft detected. Defense alert. Support cruiser spotted.
Coordinates verified.
Get us moving. Enemy turret destroyed. Alert.
Yeah, RenderedSpy producing railguns.
Point out.
This attack group from RenderedSpy's coming in the back.
Cannon on fire. Target position updated.
Bring us round. Hostile rail.
Yeah, the net is close and around Bozocow here.
At 50% integrity. Defense alert. Honor Guard cruiser in contact. Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
Carrier weapon systems offline. Systems offline. And then carrier repair systems online. Carrier weapon systems.
I mean, 4 Honor Guard cruisers is nothing to scoff at, but
Secure destination.
Salvager is in contact.
it's not enough to fight all these rails.
Defense alert. Honor Guard cruiser has been destroyed by heretic forces.
Coordinates verified. Bring us around.
Defense alert. Hull salvager destroyed. To contact. Set condition 1.
Harvester repositioning.
And this is absolutely not how Bozocow wanted to start game 1.
New coordinates verified. Moving under fire.
Enemy railgun destroyed.
Systems online. Main cannon on.
Defense alert. Production cruiser engaging the enemy.
Harvester repositioning. Advance and engage.
Maneuver assigned.
Carrier repair systems offline.
Defense alert. Production cruiser destroyed. Defense alert. Honor Guard cruiser under fire. Defense cruiser lost.
Ahead, more.
Hope advance. Bring us round.
And that's the last Honor Guard going down.
Spotted. Defense alert. Cruiser has been engaged.
Carrier weapon systems offline. In carrier range systems offline. Carrier weapon systems online.
Another Honor Guard hits the field, but
Honor Guard defense systems online. Main cannon on.
doesn't seem like
Carrier weapon systems.
long before this carrier goes down.
Hostile bomber spotted.
Carrier repair systems online. Advance and
It's
engage.
just too much on the field for RenderedSpy right now and nothing for Bozo.
Hostile railgun approaching. Set condition 1.
Cruiser response. Stand by for bomber cruiser advance.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
Advance and engage.
Defense alert set. Honor Guard cruiser has been destroyed by heretic forces. Advance on new heading.
And Bozocow forced to. Oh, yep. He knows there's no coming back from this. He's gonna GG. Gonna load up game 2 real quick. Alright, game 2 gonna be on Torrent Crater. Bozocow's already got egg on his face. Got a lot to prove in game 2, so we'll see what he can bring to the table.
Advanced system to target. Target position updated. Return for deep. We have discovered a sacred site. Secure the wreck. How you feel?
Let's see if the plan
Rally
changes.
position designated. Rally position marked. Rally position
Not sure what he's gonna go for yet.
systems online.
Still salvagers for both players.
Salvager online with the destination. Salvager construction complete.
No sign of sand skimmer tech from Bozocow, so it looks like he might try a different plan here, go for refinery mode.
Course set.
RenderedSpy going eco, going for a support cruiser.
Destination locked in.
Refinery mode does come out for Bozocow, so eco focus from both players.
Rally position designated. Target position updated. Destination verified. Course set. Moving to Steve. Rally position marked.
And RenderedSpy, going for LAV Fab.
Destination verified.
And straight into AAVs for RenderedSpy.
Resources from salvagers. Established. Extraction systems charged. Command verified. Rally position designated.
Bozocow getting super greedy, building another production cruiser. I mean, he's not being challenged, so he can get away with that. Carrier production upgrade coming out from RenderedSpy.
Salvager online. We have visual on the artifact.
And we're gonna see if this is a 2-base AAV push, or if he goes immediately up to 3.
Production cruiser rendering complete. Rally position designated. Rally position marked.
Systems ready.
Bozocow starting to move toward his 3rd base, finally getting sand skimmer fab.
Salvager construction.
And he's gonna want to build a couple right away to scout what RenderedSpy is doing, because he hasn't seen anything for a while.
Salvager online. Salvager online.
Carrier active.
Set charges ready.
Bozocow's going into assault ships. Not a bad call on this map. Torrent Crater's really big and
Designated.
really good for air. And assault ship tech opens that up.
Rally position marked. We have insufficient construction units. Acknowledge. Rally position designated. Rally position designated.
RenderedSpy sending some AAVs across the field.
Command verified. Salvager online.
And Bozocow doesn't have anything to spot this yet.
Attack
He's gonna want to.
Systems reading.
Salvager online. Carrier range systems online. Salvager construction complete.
And Bozocow going straight into interceptors.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
Sees that first AAV. Gets carrier systems 1.
Course set.
Carrier range systems offline and do not have enough CUs. Systems online. Acknowledge. Rally position marked.
And building assault ships. Hopefully they're out in time.
Research fulfilled.
Salvager is in contact.
It's verified. Prime charges. Harvester repositioning.
Defense alert. Production cruiser engaged.
First salvager goes down.
Cruiser under fire. Armored craft taking fire.
Victim do not
Assault ships are gonna take the fight with the AAVs.
Coordinates verified.
And charge point
Systems offline.
Get us moving.
Carrier range systems online. Carrier weapon systems.
And this is a tense fight right here. They tend to be pretty or these units tend to be pretty evenly matched.
Course verified.
Force up. Armored ship rendered. Acknowledged.
First assault ship goes down though.
Destination locked in. Reposition.
Rendered Spy, slight edge on trades so far.
Defense alert. Salvager destroyed.
Carrier weapon systems offline. Systems online. Contact enemy.
Bozocow really trying to fight this without committing the carrier, but I don't think he can.
Reposition.
What's Rendered Spy doing?
Sand skimmer advancing. Command verified. Armored ship online.
Salvager taking fire.
Nothing yet, still committed to AAVs.
Destination. Moving under fire. Armored ship online.
These AAVs are gonna clean up the third base though.
Defense alert. Salvager lost.
Systems offline. Carrier weapon systems online. Position.
Defense alert. Production cruiser is in contact.
More assault ships sit in the field though.
Engaged.
On the way.
Bring us round.
New coordinates verified. Armored ship rendered. Armor moving. Rally position marked.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
So Bozocow loses 3 salvagers. There's more AAVs on the way.
Locked in. On the way.
Target zone verified.
Maneuvers grid mark. Command verified.
Forced to evacuate this third base.
Course marked. Advance.
Research concluded. Salvager moving. Armor advancing.
And Rendered Spy looking really good.
Ahead full.
It's just flooding Bozo's base with AAVs.
Maneuver us out.
Armored ship online.
Sand skimmer taking fire.
Advance underway. Established. Commence breakdown.
Yeah, putting Bozocow on the defense and taking advantage of that field control to grab artifacts.
Has been destroyed.
Reposition. Target location.
Yeah, he's playing this really well.
Force up. Force in.
Bozocow trying to push out, takes some local fights.
Moving under fire. Command verified.
This fight on the third is slightly in Rendered Spy's favor though.
Defense notified. Heretic forces are extracting an artifact.
Armored craft taking fire. Salvager is in contact.
Yeah, Bozocow trying to hold on to the Seco, but
Advance to contact. Set
really can't. There's just too many AAVs on the field.
Destination. Target defenseless.
Looks like Rendered Spy already has armor level 3 for these AAVs.
Advance.
Course set.
Let me confirm that. Yep,
Craft lost. Defense alert.
full armor upgrades. Meanwhile, following that up with fighter and gunship fabrication.
Move. Contact ended. Armored ship rendered.
Hostile detected.
So it was initially Bozocow's plan to go air, but looks like Rendered Spy beating him to the punch.
Systems online. On the way. Systems ready.
Strike craft destroyed.
Fight on the third base is starting to go to Bozocow.
Destroyed. Carrier initialized. Alert. Carrier taking fire.
Advance to position.
Get us moving.
Command verified.
And Bozocow forced to reveal a bomber.
On
to clean up that second base.
Armor craft destroyed. Armor craft under attack.
Force up. Production cruiser moving out.
RenderedSpy, meanwhile, filling out his third, getting 2 artifacts, and just like that, Bozocow's on the back foot again.
Moving to destination.
RenderedSpy playing this really well, coming out ahead on all the trades,
Heretic forces have
just
secured
doing everything he needs to do to stay ahead by every metric. Going for support cruiser anti-air. Got some strike fighters in the air, hopefully defending from bombers.
ready. Defense alert. Heretic forces have secured an artifact.
RenderedSpy manages to get both artifacts out,
Base runner neutralized.
loses the first base runner.
Carrier weapon systems offline. Precision bomber inbound. Carrier repair systems online. Artifact detected. Secure the holy site.
Bozocow sending out this bomber, but strike fighters are in the air, support cruiser AA is up.
Target location marked.
It's probably not going to be able to do too much.
Assault railgun capacity online. Artifact detected.
Prepare for
Secured all coffers.
defense alert. Bomber taking fire.
Strike fighters are going to chase. Are they going to get it?
Enemy sensor post destroyed. Armor craft taking fire.
No, it doesn't look like they are.
Strike fighter inbound. Alert. Carrier is being attacked.
They're launching. Target set. Launching. Coordinates verified.
RenderedSpy taking
Destination locked in.
taking advantage of air superiority, going for tactical bomber fabrication.
Research concluded.
I like it.
Rally position marked.
Defense alert. Interceptor taking fire.
And with the air support from these strike fighters, these AAVs can push out and clean up the assault ships.
Armor craft has been lost.
Carrier repair systems offline. Systems
Carrier
online.
neutralized.
Reposition. Rally position marked.
Bozocow going for interceptors, but
Interceptor online awaiting orders.
pressure's really on him to make something happen.
Position designated. Advance to position. Salvager construction complete.
Meanwhile, he's tucked into rails, and he's building a heavy right now.
Position designated.
He needs that to defend at home, but
Bomber inbound on marked position.
yeah, he needs an answer to all of this air from RenderedSpy.
Fleet capacity upgraded. Acknowledge.
Combat ready.
Ready. Coordinates verified.
2 interceptors out. No afterburner upgrades, so
Heavy railgun service.
not going to be as effective as they could be.
Defense alert. Incoming hostile strike fighters locked in. Destination hostile forces detected.
Manages to get 1 strike fighter, but
New course set. Defense alert.
really needs more than that.
Attack. Alert.
Railgun's coming out for RenderedSpy.
Area respond.
Bomber's going to commit against them, but
Hostile scanner spotted.
if the strike fighters see it, they're going to nab it.
Hostile
And true enough, they're coming over. Bomber's going to commit against a logistics module, which
eliminated.
had to be a misclick.
Offline. Systems online. Sector launching. Target set. Launching. Missile ship capacity online.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
Bozocow going for missile ships as well. It's good, he needs them.
Waiting command. Fighter returning to carrier.
Interceptor's going to shoot down a probe.
Defense. Carrier active.
Command verified. Rally position marked.
Sees the railguns, so the carrier's going to be forced to retreat.
Acknowledged. Missile ship rendering complete. Research fulfilled.
Strike fighters come back out. We're going to see where they go. They're going to commit against salvagers, which...
Production cruiser engaging the enemy.
Force set.
But the imps are going to find them.
Charging array. EV new coordinates. Interceptor inbound on target. Missile ship online.
Defense alert.
1 strike fighter goes down. One interceptor goes down.
Friendly interceptor has been destroyed.
Coordinates verified.
Defense alert. Support cruiser spotted.
Set docking protocols.
New course set.
Destination marked. Salvager online.
And the precision bomber's gonna take advantage of the clear skies for a second.
Rally position marked.
Lay down some damage on this blob.
Hostile armor destroyed.
Locked in. Base runner rendered.
Armored craft under attack. Thompson.
Taking a while to drop these bombs, though.
Set travelox in advance.
RenderedSpy gonna
Online.
pull back a little bit.
Systems online.
Bozocow's gonna try to build up again.
Course mapped.
Building a base runner to try and contest these artifacts, but
Enemy armor inbound.
RenderedSpy's got a lot of air, and
Target zone designated.
he's going for the tac stack.
Advance on new heading.
Course set.
Building 3 tactical bombers. That is
Interceptor.
gonna hurt when it finally hits.
Hostile strike fighter inbound.
Armor prime. New course set. Targets go.
Strike fighters are gonna find the anti-air net.
Protect your destination.
One of them goes down.
Returning to carrier. Acknowledge. Rally position marked. Locked in.
Advance.
Railgun calibration enhancements online. Armor moving.
RenderedSpy gonna commit his forces to mid. See if he can deny these artifacts.
Bomber inbound on marked position. Heavy railgun in service.
Bombers moving up.
Yeah, looks like he's gonna pick up that base runner.
Cruiser identified. Armored craft taking fire.
Support cruiser AA out for RenderedSpy. Bozo can't commit his air here.
Defense alert. Interceptor lost.
Defense alert. Heretic forces under attack.
Interceptors go down.
Systems offline.
Bomber barely exfiltrates.
Get us moving.
Bozocow winning a local fight over here, but
Alert.
RenderedSpy just pushing uncontested through mid.
Fleet at maximum capacity mark.
Hostile armored craft
Target zone
destroyed.
designated. Forward.
Hostile railgun approaching.
Maneuvering out.
First tactical bomber hitting the field now.
Online. Systems online.
Defense alert. Hostile bomber spotted. Contact detection.
That's gonna take down 2 assault ships.
Comply. Comply.
Armored craft lost.
Destination marked.
Maneuver us out. Friendly interceptor has been destroyed.
Carrier weapon systems offline.
Big fight coming down on the left flank.
Precision bomber inbound on marked location.
Target set. Heavy railgun destroyed.
RenderedSpy finds the carrier.
75% integrity.
Railguns are going down for Bozocow.
Satin skimmer under fire.
Report set.
This is potentially carrier killing damage right here.
Craft has been destroyed.
Systems offline.
It's enough rails to end it.
Systems online.
Heavy railgun destroyed by enemy forces. Alert. Carrier hull at 50.
And Bozo knows it. He's gonna GG. And Bozocow, you can tell, absolutely getting caught with his pants down here. Not the series he expected, and now he's up against the wall. So game 3 gonna be on Kartoba. And pressure's really on Bozocow to make something happen, because all RenderedSpy needs to do is win one more game, and he's moving on to the finals. The series score is 2-0 in favor of RenderedSpy.
Rally position designated. Rally position marked.
And we'll see what the plan is for Bozocow this game. Base runner retained for now.
Salvager construction complete.
Sand skimmer fabrication coming out for RenderedSpy. Or, no, for Bozocow, sorry.
Core set.
So it looks like it's going to be another rush from him.
Rally position designated.
He tried this in game 1 and got shut all the way down by kind of some clever AAV backstab play from RenderedSpy.
Coordinates verified. Feeding new coordinates. Strike ground.
RenderedSpy, meanwhile, building a support cruiser. Eco-focus from him,
Heretic craft detected.
which is kind of what Bozo wants, but he was able to hold this
Attack vehicle ready.
on the Boneyard in game 1.
Acknowledged.
Let's see if Bozocow takes them a little bit seriously, or a little bit more seriously this time.
Vehicle online.
Ready for deployment.
All advance.
Grid mark set. Maintain active scans.
Scouting base runner for RenderedSpy gonna get shut down by one skimmer.
Systems online. Sand skimmer advanced. Salvager online. Course verified. Light attack vehicle rendering complete.
Production cruiser shows up on RenderedSpy's doorstep,
Position locked in. Power out. Feeding new coordinates.
and RenderedSpy going AAV fab again. Worked really well for him in game 1, we'll see if it works well for him this time.
Target position set. Salvager online. Acknowledged.
Hostile base runner neutralized.
Artifact signal confirmed. It must be seized. Artifact extraction team en route. Moving to destination. Course set. Command verified. Move to destination. Coordinates verified.
Neither player wants to commit to a fight yet.
Acknowledged. Move and monitor scans. Maneuver to grid mark. Grid mark set. Light attack vehicle rendering complete.
RenderedSpy building LAVs, but
Alert. Support cruiser spotted.
doesn't have enough of them.
Sand skimmer taking
He
fire.
really needs that carrier production upgrade, but he's getting armor ups for his LAVs instead.
Hostile strike craft destroyed.
Push out.
A strike craft has been
And-
destroyed.
Set.
Bozocow committing in, getting salvager kills.
Defense alert. Production cruiser.
Just like that, not looking good for RenderedSpy.
Adjusting calendar. Engaging on destination locked in.
First AAV hits the field,
New position.
Defense alert. Cruiser under fire.
but that's 3 salvagers down already.
Destroyed.
Grid mark set. Push out.
Carrier online.
And Bozocow teching railguns, great follow-up to this.
Command verified. Moving to destination. Feeding new coordinates. ED command. Proceed to mark. Coordinates verified. Attack vehicle rendering complete. Artifact extraction confirmed.
So that's a really great start for Bozocow.
Mark set. Advance.
A lot of salvager kills right off the bat.
Attack vehicle rendering.
Got 2 production cruisers.
Moving to destination.
Rail fabrication done, rebuilding his sand skimmers.
Command verified. Heavy railgun online.
And even an artifact out.
Mobilizing.
Finally starting to show some signs of life in this
Salvager
series.
online. Acknowledge. Destination locked in. Destination verified. Light attack vehicle online. Artifact extraction team en route.
A base runner is taking damage. Enemy base runner authenticated.
Artifact
Trying to get another artifact out.
assigned.
These AAVs are gonna shut it down though.
Move to destination. Push out.
First heavy railguns on the field, and it's hitting the support cruiser.
Draw. Course verified.
Base runner lost. Sand skimmer under fire.
Yeah, I expect a dead SC.
Power out. Under contact. Deploy offensive measures. Engaging orders locked in.
Enemy support cruiser destroyed.
Target position set.
Hostile detected.
Yeah, Bozocow is picking off these AAVs as soon as they get built.
Range defense set.
Defense alert.
Starting to take down this carrier.
Acknowledged. Maneuvers written up.
Defense alert.
Yeah, RenderedSpy made quite a few positioning mistakes, especially with those AAVs chased in the base runner. If you're facing a rail rush, you really want them on the defense.
Position set. System
And it's okay, he can afford to make these mistakes. He's up 2-0 in the series.
Defense alert.
But
Salvo destroyed.
sending cover bar. The blast.
still, he's letting Bozocow get away with the textbook rail rush when he really shouldn't have.
Forces are extracting an artifact in rocket.
Alert. Defense carrier in contact.
Moving to extract carrier range systems online.
AAV committed
Zero taking fire.
Target
to a backstab here.
Harvester
Hostile railgun approaching. Railgun receiving hostile fire.
adjust course of fire. Rally. Unleashing counter.
Railgun's coming out, not going to be enough. Another salvager goes down, and RenderedSpy is going to GG.
Heretic forces have lost the artifact.
The heretics have been repelled.
And yeah, that's a textbook rail rush from Bozocow. RenderedSpy committed a little bit too heavily into eco as well, and that's really what you want to see is the rail rushing player. Starting to become a little bit of a believer in Bozocow again in this series. We'll see what he can bring to Game 4. Just loading that up right now. And Game 4. Gonna be on Canyon Outpost. And this is RenderedSpy's pick, and it's a really good one for him because there's some great terrain for AAVs here. It's a little bit harder to make rail plays happen on this map.
Coordinates verified. Acknowledged.
We'll see what Bozocow does.
With a old and ancient site. Position marked.
Carrier
Repel all heretics and protect our legacy. Secure the
set
artifacts.
drives to idle.
Targeting IU field. Move to destination. Targeting CU field.
Set travel ops in advance.
Salvager construction delayed.
Move to destination. Carrier active.
Command
Got a production cruiser coming out for Bozocow.
Ready for
Send Skimmer Fabrication on the queue.
set drives to idle.
Looks like it's going to be another rush from him.
position updated.
And hey, this worked in Game 4, or in Game 3. We're gonna see if it works for him again. Eco focus from RenderedSpy though. Going 7-up again. Bozocow really punished this on Kartova,
Salvager.
but Kartova's a much better rail map, so
Observing target on horizon.
might get away with it this time.
Hostile base runner detected.
Cruiser confirmed. Move to destination. Feeding new coordinates.
Oh, Bozocow going for assault ships this time, so
Targeting CU field. Rally position.
usually with him,
Maneuver
this is kind of like a delayed refinery mode build. He'll drop a couple assault ships near the enemy base, and then pull back and go rough mode.
Green mark verified. Salvager on.
LAV Fab finally coming out for RenderedSpy.
Armor craft available for production. Mark set. Move to destination. Fleet capacity upgraded. Move and monitor scans.
And AAV Fabrication coming out.
Cruiser online.
Heretic scanner spotted.
Artifact detected.
First assault ship hits the field for Bozo. Armored unit defenses level 1 teching. Gonna make them a little bit more survivable.
Heretic turret identified.
Acknowledge. Move us out. Power out. Restricted DT lock.
Sand skimmer under fire.
RenderedSpy dropping a turret though.
Locked in.
It's gonna shut down that angle of attack completely.
Defense alert. Production cruiser is in contact. Defense alert. Cruiser has been engaged.
Move us out. Move to destination.
RenderedSpy gonna try to zone out these assault ships with his carrier.
Course set. Targeting RE field. Rally position designated. Forward. Advance. Destination locked in.
Now,
Armor moving.
Bozocow pivoting now. Moving these assault ships to deny the second base for a little bit.
Locked in. Armor advancing. Salvage.
And teching refinery mode on the back end.
Destination.
RenderedSpy moving out with the carrier though.
Destination.
Building AAVs to defend. First one hitting the field now.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
Ready for call. Defense alert. Heretic forces are extracting an artifact. Coordinates verified. Rally position designated. Commander rally position designated. Destination locked in. Course verified. Rally position marked.
Assault ships still want to deny the second base.
Right attack vehicle rendering complete. Rally position designated.
Armored craft taking fire.
But, yep, they're going to commit against the AAV.
Right attack vehicle rendering complete. Acknowledged. Rally position designated.
Combat ready.
Moving to
Second production cruiser on the way for Bozocow.
Defense alert. Hostile carrier detected.
Force up. Production cruiser online. Advance to position. Cease action. Move. Contact imminent. Advance. Keep contact alert.
Assault ships are kind of
Salvage.
outliving their usefulness in this location. There's just too many AAVs on the field.
Position marked.
Awaiting. Send command. Hostile turret spotted.
Rally position designated. Position set.
Base runner's gonna exfiltrate an artifact.
Armored ship.
Drops a turret to deal with these sand skimmers.
Order received.
Carrier online. Awaiting directive.
Ready for
More assault ships coming out for Bozocow.
construction complete. Defense alert. Heretic forces have secured an artifact. Fleet capacity upgrade.
Tracking contact. Waiting for visual authentication.
Rally position designated. Rally position designated. Rally position designated.
Awaiting. Send command.
Target film designated.
Got a little bit of a stalemate here.
Locked in.
Defense alert. Enemy armor.
Bozocow a little bit ahead on economy.
Coordinates verified.
A strike craft has been destroyed.
Rally position designated. We lack construction units.
Ready for deployment.
Stay the crack. Moving to destination.
3-on-3 fight on this bridge. Neither side really wants to commit.
Artifact signal confirmed. Advance it must be seized. Armored
Now what
ship.
Bozocow wants to do is not overbuild on assault ships.
Advance.
It's gotta have a follow-up ready.
Armor moving.
Armored craft under attack. This is your captain.
No sign of one yet. Oh, going into siege cruisers.
Armored ship.
I mean, this is a good map for it. The terrain is nice.
Position designated. Rally position designated. Target location marked. Heating new coordinates.
I'm personally not sure how I feel about it, though.
Right attack vehicle rendering complete. Locked in. Coordinates verified. Armor moving out.
Another scuffle breaking out on the bridge. Well,
Grid mark set. Advance.
nope, they're gonna push in and then back away.
Course set.
Missile batteries coming out from RenderedSpy, though.
Base runner authenticated.
Siege cruiser fabrication online.
And railguns.
Carrier initialized.
Target position fleet capacity upgraded.
Heretic turret identified. Sand skimmer under fire.
So we've got a pretty nice variety of techs coming out from RenderedSpy.
Strike craft destroyed.
Defense alert. Heretic forces are extracting an artifact. Command verified. Production.
Bozocow doesn't really have an answer on the field for much of this yet. It's gonna have to rely on some really, really good siege barrages.
Moving to destination. Course set.
Advance to contact.
Armored ship online.
1. Strike craft has been destroyed.
Teching already the range upgrade for the siege cruiser.
Turret destroyed.
Really, really good tech.
Destination locked in. Grid lock set. Maintain active
And
scans. Carrier
pushing forward with the carrier, but there's no power in this yet, so not a huge threat.
Rally position designated.
RenderedSpy, meanwhile, building railguns.
Maintain active scans.
Siege cruiser online.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
Reposition. Force out. Base run right attack vehicle rendering complete.
First siege cruiser hits the field, makes its presence felt.
Coordinates verified. Ahead full. Advance through contact.
Maneuver assigned.
Destination light attack vehicle online.
Systems reading.
Command link positive. Course set. Sounds good. Moving on.
Bozocow pushing up really far with this carrier.
Hostile detected. Confirmed visual.
Target zone designated. Moving to destination.
Got a fight breaking out on the bridge.
Rendering complete.
Armored craft taking fire.
Missile ship fabrication online. Set. Advance underway. Destination locked in.
No casualties yet.
Ahead full. Move to destination. Target position set. Base runner rendered. Full.
Hostile base runner.
Skims and assault ships are going to try to shut down this artifact.
Command verified. Rally position designated. Force up. Moving. We have dialed in an artifact signal. Secure it.
Course set.
And
Acknowledged. Target location marked. High Heretic forces have lost the artifact. Advance to position.
so artifact gets shut down on the right flank.
Destroyed.
Research fulfilled.
RenderedSpy, meanwhile, going for artillery cruisers, which
Missile ship
is going to be helpful against a siege.
artifact extraction team en route.
Hostile railgun inbound. Defense alert.
So we've got an artillery war on our hands. Gaussian barrages not going to find any targets. Railguns are going to claim a few kills, though.
Armored craft under attack.
Research fulfilled. On the way. Advance through contact. Command verified. Rally position designated.
Siege barrages come down, but don't claim any victims.
Hostile anti-air turret destroyed.
Moving to destination. Forward. Advance.
Armored craft lost.
Skimmers and assault ships are going to push up on the right flank, but they're going to find this turret.
Location marked.
Ahead full.
Take
Defense alert. Siege cruiser in contact. Defense alert. Cruiser under fire.
verified. Verified.
RenderedSpy finding a good angle, though.
Advance through contact.
Gonna push up on this flank.
Destroyed.
Armor moving out.
Armored craft has been lost.
We have dialed in an artifact signal.
Siege cruiser goes down.
Hostile scanner spotted. Hostile
Second one's gonna follow in not too long.
Defense alert. Siege cruiser destroyed.
Move. Contact imminent.
A strike craft has been destroyed.
Moving to destination.
RenderedSpy coming out slightly ahead on all of these
Ahead
trades.
full. Armored craft taking fire.
Carrier repair systems online.
Bozocow extracting artifacts, though.
Command verified.
Armored craft lost.
Force up. Target zone designated.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
Artifact extraction confirmed. Moving under fire.
Hostile railgun approaching.
Assault ships pushing into railguns and quickly regretting it.
Render. Test carrier repair systems offline. Advance. Proceed to mark. ED command.
Move to
Rendered Spy, meanwhile, flanking.
Advance underway. Halt advance.
This group of AAVs is
A base runner is under attack.
probably going to clean up these base runners.
We have visual on the artifact. We must claim Seju's legacy. Ahead, full.
Armored craft has been lost.
Artifact extraction confirmed.
Bozo does get the artifacts, though.
Artifact locked in.
Base runner destroyed.
Carrier weapon systems online. Base runner advancing.
Awaiting. Send command.
Grid mark set.
Move to destination.
Carrier's going to commit on the right flank. It should be able to clean all this up.
Move to grid mark.
Defense alert. Support cruiser identified. Alert. Carrier taken.
Railguns from Rendered Spy are on the way, though.
Acknowledge.
Hostile forces detected. Be vigilant.
Research fulfilled. Course set. Command verified. Armor moving. Grid mark set.
Advance. Warning. Carrier hull passing.
Rails are going to commit against a space runner.
Hostile railgun inbound. Get us moving.
Carrier repair systems online.
And they're probably going to get it.
Damage.
Bozocow's force is way out of position.
Ready artifact drop. Target zone verified. Move to grid mark.
Base runner lost. Advance.
Move to grid mark.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound. Defense alert. Siege cruiser taking fire. Defense alert. Cruiser has been engaged.
Carrier range systems offline. Fleet capacity upgrade. Coordinates verified.
Armored craft under attack.
Advance underway. Unleash counter launch. Second counter launch.
Another fight breaks out on the bridge.
Lost.
Forward. Advance. Ahead. Full.
Course set.
And Rendered Spy is somehow managing to sneak in with 3 AAVs.
Destination locked in. Grid mark set. Advance. Keep contact alert. Armor moving.
Coordinates verified.
Grid mark
Forcing Bozocow out of position.
take up position. Armor moving.
Rendered Spy sees an opportunity. He's going to push in with this railgun blob.
An artifact. Accept. Target zone designated. Barrage. Target set. Fire.
Barrage comes down, though. It's finding good damage.
Defense alert. Support cruiser spotted.
Extract resources. Destination locked in.
Salvager taking fire. Defense alert. Production cruiser engaging.
AAVs on the backline get cleaned up, but we're going to see a production cruiser go down.
We just lost a production cruiser.
Advance through contact.
Defense alert. Salvager lost. Ahead full.
Artifact detected. Secure the holy site. Carrier range systems online.
Move to destination. Armored craft taking fire. Enemy
Assault ships find a good angle on the railguns, though.
Missiles away. Move us down.
hostile railgun eliminated.
Stand up. Close the range. Establish.
Armored craft lost.
Heretic forces have lost the artifact points. Deploying fixing measures.
At close range, this is going to be a brutal fight.
Carrier is being attacked.
Lock target. Advance to position. Sweep and advance.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Systems offline.
Defense alert. Missiles detected. Craft taking damage.
New systems online.
Oh, meanwhile, Bozocow sent his carrier to flank over here.
Command verified.
Get us moving. Armored craft has been lost.
Yeah, this carrier has no business being here.
Target location marked. Core set. Grid mark set.
Bozo manages to clean up the flank, but
Acknowledge. Rally position marked.
Hold.
this carrier's way too far forward.
Point verified.
Defense alert. Heretic artillery cruiser spotted.
Activity. Grid mark set.
Target zone verified.
Carrier power 5 teching,
Carrier range systems offline.
so this carrier's nothing to scoff at.
Command verified. Light attack vehicle rendering complete. Confirm.
Bozocow actually somehow doing really well on those last couple of trades, manages to even the scoreline a little bit.
Base runner moving. Systems offline. Artifact extraction team en route. Carrier repair.
Seems to have stabilized, but
Weapon systems online.
he's fighting 2 base versus 3.
Armorcraft lost. A base runner is under attack.
Defense alert. Artifact dropped. Carrier range systems offline.
Sandsphere under fire.
Coordinates verified. Move and monitor scans.
Strikecraft destroyed.
Bozocow pushing on the left flank, but
Required visual confirmation.
he's got a big death ball coming in on the right.
Location marked. Move to grid mark. Grid mark set.
Hostile railgun approaching. Salvo ring. Defense alert. Support cruiser identified.
Galcian missile barrage coming out.
Defense alert. Artifact dropped.
Defense alert. Artillery is engaging our forces.
Carrier repair systems offline. Carrier weapon systems online.
Good split from RenderedSpy though. Bozocow doesn't claim any kills.
Defense alert. Cruiser has been engaged. Alert. Carrier under attack. Craft in area respond.
Carrier weapon systems at peak of power.
Course marked. Advance. Defense alert. Siege cruiser lost.
Destination
Armored craft.
Fighting happening on 2 flanks now. Feels like RenderedSpy kind of has the edge on both sides.
Craft has been lost.
systems on full max.
Defense alert. Hostile artillery cruiser spotted. Alert. Carrier hull at 75% integrity. Warning. Carrier hull passing 75% integrity. Awaiting directive.
Carrier pushing too far forward again.
Armor inbound.
RenderedSpy is just gonna sweep in and trash his Zico.
Armored craft.
Yeah, you're 2 games down in a series. You can't afford to overextend like that.
Awaiting a strike craft.
Bozocow gonna clean up these artillery cruisers, but at what cost?
Destroyed.
RenderedSpy managing to push in on 2 flanks at once.
Heretic forces are extracting an artifact.
Salvager is in contact.
Set charges. Verified. Position set.
Pushing in with this carrier, but
Contact. Bring us
there are a lot of rails here.
alert. Carrier hull at 75%.
He's gonna have to run.
We've dialed in an artifact signal. Secure it. Carrier repair systems online.
Bring us round. Warning. Carrier hull is at half integrity.
Yeah, he's trying to step on these railguns, but he can't do it.
Systems offline. Systems on full max.
Warning. Carrier below 25% integrity. Danger.
Carrier weapon systems online.
Defense alert. Cruiser under fire. Bring us round. Move and charge point defenses. Course set.
Carrier weapon systems offline. Carrier range systems offline. Carrier weapon systems online. Carrier repair.
Just like that, all that Bozocow has left on the field is this carrier.
Defense alert. Salvager lost. And charge. Defense alert. Production cruiser engaging the enemy.
And I don't think there's much he can do to come back from this.
Defense alert. Enemy armor inbound.
Heating new coordinate. Delay rally position. Grid mark set.
And I think this entire series, Bozocow's been trying to get a little too creative with it. The one game he won
Production cruiser destroyed. Hostile railgun.
was when he did probably exactly what RenderedSpy expected him to do and go for the rail rush.
Defense alert. Cruiser has been engaged.
Carrier repair systems online.
RenderedSpy just
Carrier weapon
being incredibly patient, playing this textbook, taking a slight advantage in every fight,
In area respond.
and
Production cruiser.
artifact detected. Secure the holy site.
taking a really,
5% integrity.
really convincing 3-1 series.
They are not gone till they are forgotten.
And with that,
Failure will be preserved in the Litanies.
RenderedSpy doing what nobody expected and beating Bozocow 3-1 to go on to face Just Carrier in the finals. really, really exciting results. Um, Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you at some point in the future in the finals.